I would just like to introduce myself. My name is Marg Lange from Marg Lange Change Agency. I'm a targeted lead generator, a change agent, and also a business launch specialist. So welcome today to Trying to Sell in Uncertain Times, and 3 reasons why people aren't buying from you and how to change that. Today I'm very, very excited that I've got Stevens, who is an international multi-award winning face profiler who's worked with Gillette, Disney and the Australian Federal Police, and also Monika Mundell, who is a client attraction strategist who effortlessly attracts clients. And don't we need that today with the world as it is? So just to get started, I just wanted to say, hey, money can't buy me love, said the Beatles about 60 years ago. And the way that I'm looking at it now is I don't believe that even money is buying likes. So I would really like to start off with my 3 reasons why I don't think anybody is buying from you at the moment. And the first reason is because people pre-COVID were always in this pitching type of mentality. It was all about self-promotion. And so what happened then is that people who didn't adapt to COVID have been still showing up in a way that is very pitchy. So a good example of this is when you're on a Facebook chat and you might be chatting away to someone on Facebook, and next thing you know, they're contacting you in Messenger. So I just like to show a screen share my screen now. All right, so before the pandemic started and this global crisis happened, there was a research done by PricewaterhouseCoopers, and they found that 59% of global consumers felt that businesses had lost touch with the human element. And they also found that 75% of customers surveyed wanted to interact with a human versus an automated machine. And, you know, if anybody know what it's like to try and contact Telstra right now, don't get me started, because you can't contact and speak to a human. So when this pandemic happened, people went into a state of disbelief, and then they went into anger, and then they went into sadness, and that became then they went to a stage of acceptance with uncertainty. And then some went to optimism. But if you're in Melbourne right now, what we've found with the second lockdown is everybody's gone back into disbelief. So why does this matter? It means that if you were going to be now pitching your stuff and you're going to be talking in a way and you're not aware of how you're showing up, what's going to happen is that people are going to be driven away by your messaging. So the best way to do that is to actually start being aware of how you're showing up. What are you saying in Facebook? Are you saying things that trigger people? Are you reading the emotion in the text right? So these are the things that you need to be aware of. In terms of the other thing about showing up is that we had the Black September as our first type of sort of tagline, and people were finding it was really, really offensive, because they thought, oh, Black Lives Matter. They thought we were taking advantage of the situation, which we weren't. And so people are really, really sensitive. So you have to be really, really careful about how you're showing up. And as a super connector, as you can see, I've made mistakes and blunders and whatever, and I am being as authentic as I can be today. As much as I'd really like to be as professional as I am as genuine as it comes when it comes to things like this. So the other reason why people aren't buying from you is because people's demands, our customer demands, and what they're expecting and what they're thinking and feeling behind closed doors, you don't know what that is. For example, if someone was to go and text me today and try and sell me something through SMS marketing, or they've sent me something through Messenger, I could have COVID-19 and people wouldn't even know that. I mean, the other day on Sunday, I had a friend of mine, she's known me for 6 years, and it was, hi Mark, today we've got 20% off, and she didn't even bother to ask me how I was thinking and feeling. So the thing is that when you are looking at first of all, how you're showing up, what you're saying, how you're connecting to people is really, really important, because people only buy from people who know, like, and trust you. So if you're out there talking in a way and not understanding how people are reacting to what you're saying or how you're showing up, then people aren't going to buy from you simply because they don't know you. And so that's really, really important. And in terms of the other thing is that, number 3, here we are on Zoom, and 7% of my body language is, or 70% is words, and 93% is non-verbal cues. Okay, so how my voice is sounding right now, which is sounding a little bit nervous, no doubt, because of all the stuff up the technology, but you get a sense of who I am. And so when we go, if you look at networking back in the old days, it was very transactional. And so people would turn up, they'd exchange business cards, they go home, they put the business cards in the drawer, and no one would follow up. So the great thing about being a connector like myself is that I don't care about what you do. I don't care about your message. I care about who you are. And I know that if I can tap into your core desire and you feel understood and you know that I understand, then there's a better chance of me being able to win over your trust and then able to sell you what it is that you say that you need according to that conversation. See, the thing is that I don't know whether what I am wanting to sell is what you really want to hear. And that's why I love about Alan. I mean, Alan is one of these face profilers who can, it was a bit like when I first met him, it was like, that song, what's that song called? Where it was, if you could read my mind now, what a thought that tale would tell. And I'm like, imagine being able to read someone's face and then be able to then speak to them in a way that they want to hear. So I was actually thinking, okay, so if you can connect and build relationships and stop this whole Facebook marketing, you're actually going to be getting more value on one-on-one conversations and actually finding out who they are, what they need, and then you need to be really, really flexible in how you're going to deliver the solution. Don't get attached to any outcome. So any time I'm connecting with someone, I really don't care whether they engage me or not. I care about helping them. And the thing is that then I don't have to make an offer. I don't have to think about selling. So I tend to, as a connector, tend to do a 4-step process. 1, I'm very aware about how I show up, and I teach you how to do that. 2, where you're showing up, because if you're just showing up on business networking groups, your customer may not be even in the room. 3, I teach you how to identify an opportunity in a conversation by getting as much information out of you as possible. And 4th, then I position myself as the best solution according to what information you've given me. And then I still don't have any attachment to the outcome. So what I'd like to do now is I would like to hand it over to Alan, because he's going to be doing a really great example of this today, and he's going to profile one of you. So Alan, welcome to these trying times of technology, and Marg's ability to try and do a PowerPoint on Zoom. I'll hand it over to you now.
Thank you very much, and welcome everybody. As Marg said, I'm a profiler. What I do is your face tells me everything I need to know about you. It tells me your personality, it tells me your emotions, and what we're going to do today is to look at a little bit of that as well. I've had this planned in one way, but I've usually, when I start a presentation, I quite often throw some of that out and start and do something completely different. And because I can see all of you, and by the way, I'll point this out first of all, when I profile people, everything is always done with respect, because it's about how can I make a better connection with you? How can I build a stronger relationship? So if I'm reading you, I'm understanding where your strengths and the things that will also push your buttons are, and I want to build a stronger relationship. So it's going to be, how can I do that so that we have a strong relationship? How can I set the environment up so that you don't get triggered? So while I'm going through this, I'll got you on gallery view in a moment, and when I do, I get through the presentation, especially at the end later on, I can look at your faces and tell you a little bit about what we're seeing. Because when it comes down to, there's 3 rules that I work with when it comes to reading people. The first one is know yourself, know the other person, and then change the way you like to be spoken to match the way that they want to be spoken to. But first of all, I'll give you a little bit of my background, and then I'll go into a bit of an overview of communication, and then we'll get on to having a quick look at some of the faces, if that's okay with you. Would everyone like to do that? Just put your hand up if you would. Excellent. Okay, well, I'll just share my screen here quickly, if this works, and let's see how I go. Okay, so you can see that there. As it says, I'm known as an international profiling and communication specialist. The title was given to me by Disney Films and Gillette, as I did some work with them. And by the way, if my head is moving around, I've got a number of monitors here, and when I click on different things, you shift to different monitors. So I'll be looking around to see where you are. But I also worked with the Australian Federal Police so that they could understand more about what made people tick, especially if they were going undercover, where the criminals can read them very well because that's their way of survival. They have to be able to read people. But with the police, they're usually with friendlies. So for them to go undercover, they're at a disadvantage. So they need to be able to do that. I also work with businesses of all sizes, parents and school teachers, and also couples to improve their relationships. So that's a little bit about me, and we got past that one pretty quickly. Okay, now as Marg has already mentioned, we don't do business that we don't know, with people we don't know, like, and trust. However, that title or that catchphrase is used by everybody out in the marketplace. You'll hear all the coaches talking about it. But the problem is, not many of them really understand it and live it. Now, Marg and I have had long talks about this, and that she does that. She lives what she's talking about there. Think about it yourself. If you call up somebody and you don't like them, you go and find somebody else. If somebody else provides the same service, and you'll go to them. You'll also go to somebody who is maybe dearer than the other person, but if you like that person more than the other one, you will go to them, because we like to be around people that we like and trust. Now, the reason that's really impacted, in 2018, 87% of people in the workplace through the Gallup research across the Western world were reported to be disengaged in the work that they're doing. That was 30% up on 2016. In 2016, it was 66%. 48% were disengaged, and another 18% were actively disengaged. Actively disengaged means that they whinge about their organisation to everybody else outside the organisation. They complain verbally to everybody in the organisation. It drags even the good workers down. With COVID, that's gone through the roof. And so the people that you're trying to sell to, they may not be in your organisation. You think, oh, well, that shouldn't affect me then. But if those people aren't happy in their work and you're trying to sell to them, it's going to be pretty difficult to be able to do business with them. So that's the first thing to look at. Now, the other thing is that people always tell me that you've got to be good at what you do. You've got to have the best service. And they'll tell me, I've got a fantastic service. I've got a great product. And I go, why are you talking to me? Oh, because we're not selling. We can't get the clients. And I go, right, have you realized then that it doesn't matter how good you are, unless you can build a relationship with people, you're never going to get the chance to prove how good you are. That goes back to what Marg was saying before and what I've just said. People only do business with those that they know, like, and trust. So that's imperative that you're able to build that relationship. There's also the old saying of treat others as you would have them treat you. Okay, it's right, but it's not fully right. If you're in business, you want to be able to treat other people as they want you to treat them. Think about it. When you'll put a presentation together, you will put it together and you'll make sure it's absolutely right. You'll test it and you'll practice it and you go, yeah, I feel great about that. It's spot on. Then you go out and see your prospective client and it's hit and miss. Sometimes you nail it and other times it just seems to fall flat. And that's because when you put your presentation together, you did it in that way that I did it. I was going to treat others as I would have them treat me. If you had taken the time and understood the other person, then you're able to treat them in the way that they want to be treated. And that's when you'll make a better connection. Because the only ones you're connecting with are those that have got very similar personalities to you. They're an easy sale, but you're going to get them anyway. It's the ones that are more completely different to you. As they say, there is 10% of people that will buy anything off you regardless of what it is, simply because of the personal connection. There's 10% at the end who wouldn't even buy a fire extinguisher off you even if they were on fire, because their personality is so much different to yours. The 80% in between is where we do our selling. But the more that you're able to read the other person, the more you're able to go down into and closer to get more of that 80% of people. You expand your market. Yes, you might have a particular avatar, and I'm going to be very strict in that area, but the end result is that there are people in that avatar who've got completely different personalities. So you're limiting the number of people you can get. This is why it's imperative to be able to connect with people. Now, quickest way to look at things, you want to, what I call the 9 core conversion accelerators. You want to be able to connect with people, to be able to engage them, to be able to influence them. You want to convert them to the way that you're thinking. This is the same thing with a personal relationship. If you're looking for a new partner, for instance, you're selling yourself the idea of them spending the rest of their life with you. That's a sale. That is a conversion. So you need to be able to influence them, engage them, but first of all, connect with them. Now, I won't go into all of that because I'm going to want to get into some profiling where you can get some direct benefits out of this. But the top section, the connectors, are most important. And this is the area where I really work. And that is in being able to read someone, first of all, as it says up there, but I hope you can see my mouse. The read section, if you can read them correctly, then you know how to put your words together and communicate with them. And then you can see the indicators. As Mark said before, the words are worth 7%. The non-verbals are 93%. It's 38% is in the tone of voice, and 55% is in the body language. And body language includes the expressions on the face as well. So the more that you're able to confirm, you'll know that you've spoken to them right, but I'll also know what their emotional state is. And I can even look at someone and tell you if they're telling you the truth or not. Everything is given away in that area. So let's have a look at those areas first of all. The confirm section, I'll come off screen at this stage so we can see me and I can see you. The confirm section of that is, as I said, body language and micro expressions. Just put your hand up very quickly if you've done any work with body language, if you've done any training in that area. Okay, so they talk about matching and mirroring people, for instance, being able to look at somebody and you're watching what they're doing and you're doing the same. So if they stroke their face sort of thing, you would then stroke your face, etc. A lot of people will teach you how to do that. The funny thing is that if you have really connected with the other person, you'll be doing it without thinking. If you do it when they do it, they will pick it up that you're faking it. But when you actually have a rapport with somebody, we just naturally, if they lean in, we have a habit of leaning in as well, but it seems to be so natural. So your body language and the expressions. Now the expressions, Paul Ekman in 1969 did some research. The face has got 43 muscles. It can pull over 10,000 expressions, 3,000 that Paul and his team gave names to. This is how all the muscles work. But he found 7 expressions which are universal. It doesn't matter if you've been blind from birth, whether you live in a capital city, a tribal village. If you feel any one of those 7 emotions, you will also express that expression on your face. And they are anger, contempt, disgust, happiness, sadness, fear, and surprise. And so if you're using those and body language, you can pick up what the person's really feeling and whether you've connected with them. The area that, and he, as I said, he did his research in 1969, and through that time, there was a lot of people who believed that the facial expressions were cultural. Well, the reason for the coming out on your face, the reason you get angry, can be cultural, but the expression itself is universal. So anybody who has one of those emotions will then show the expression on their face. So I use that as a backup to understand whether I've read them right, know their emotions, and also if they're telling me the truth. Because it all depends on the timing. As it says there, said before, the clusters, whether they're congruent or whether they're in context. And I'll just share that again so you can see it. So, but I don't see one on its own. I see multiples. I also, if they congruent with the situation, are they in context with what's going on as well? The communication, I need to know what detail to give the person, what order of information to give to them, and what style. And this is where the read section comes in. The reading is looking at your facial features. Now, right about now, as soon as I mention facial features to give away your personality, I've noticed a few eyes on the screen sort of drift around and going, is this a bit woo-woo? If you lift weights, you're going to build muscles. The same thing as I've already said, if you have a particular emotion, you're going to give away an expression on your face. So it's natural if you have the same expression over and over because you concentrate deeply and you really focus in and you pull your eyes together, you crunch up your forehead, etc. You will create ridges and crevices on your face which will give away your personality. And so you do it over and over, that's going to be the history there on your face. This is why the facial features give away how you like to think and process. And so if I can then read the emotional side of that, how you like to respond emotionally, how you like to express yourself, and how you like to think and take in information, is that in a lot of detail, is it a broad picture, is it in a particular style, then I can set the language up in relationship to it. So this is how it all works in that particular area. And then if I've done that, then I really have a connection with the person. Now, I know that we haven't got too much time, but very quickly what I'm going to do is, by the way, is it all right? Just put your hand up. It's all right if I look at your face and if I make any comments about it. Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, Daniela, first of all, by the way, when I talk about you, put your microphone on and you can respond and tell me as well. That way everybody else will be able to hear it.
Yes, sir.
I know that when you meet people for the first time, you like a little bit of space. You like to check out who's safe to be around and who's not safe to be around. Some people might see that as you being less friendly, but what it comes down to is, no, you're not going to get caught by the con artist, because every trait has an upside and every trait has a downside. The downside is people might see you as less friendly. The upside is you're not going to get conned. So that's an advantage. Martin, I just saw, have you got your camera on, Martin, at all?
Unfortunately, my camera is playing up at the moment.
Okay, well, I'm just looking here. As I said, I don't need to see him in movement. I've got his face there on the screen. And by the way, if you've got someone's LinkedIn profile, website, or Facebook or anywhere else, social media where you can see their face, you can profile them. As you can see, Martin's is a still photograph. Martin's the opposite. He likes he's quite comfortable standing close to people when he meets them for the first time. He's also, would I be right, Martin, that you've got critical perception? You can find errors in documents. Things that are in black and white will stand off the page at you very quickly.
Yes, that's true.
Exactly. So these are things I'll be able to see in his face. So I know that when Martin walks into the room, he would see Daniela. If you go over and if he stands where he's comfortable, Daniela, you'd be backing away because he'd be invading your space. Now, if he's invading your space, are you thinking about what he's saying, or are you withdrawing, moving away from him?
I'm reading him. I read people before I meet them.
That discerning trait comes out. But if he was standing too close, you've got two things you can do. You can listen, or you'd be working about how can I get some space back if you don't trust me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the thing is that if Danielle is standing close to somebody, I know she knows them and she trusts them. So if I walk into a room, it doesn't take me long to be able to read the room and see who's connected to who and who's not. And Daniela, when it comes to organising people and events, things seem to flow. You can look at stuff and see how it's structured and work things through very quickly.
That's part of my job, yes.
What's your job?
I coordinate events, but I'm a social media marketing and networking coach. I help people network as well at local events here.
And that's work that you obviously love to do. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, you've gravitated to one that your traits have actually brought you into. So, if somebody's not happy in their work, there's a good chance that whatever work they're doing won't match their personalities. And when it comes down to, very quickly, Tanya, when people talk to you and you just like the overview of the information, give them the least amount of information, enough to make a decision, and then just get out of the way and let me get it. Give me the best way to do it. Let me get it done. Whereas, again, if Martin was talking to you, he's more analytical. He needs more information before he makes a decision. So if he's talking to you, he's going to give the information that he needs to hear himself, and that way he feels comfortable in what he's giving you. But you would either switch off or you'd be trying to get him to move along a lot more quickly. So with you, we're on a mountain peak, and there's another mountain peak. You just want to work out, how can I get across to the other mountain peak the quickest way? You want to know where the bridge is. Martin would be working out whether he goes down the valley first of all, check it all out, go across the bottom and work out, do I even want to go up the other side? So he will take longer. So when he talks to you, too much information, you switch off. If you're talking to him, you give the overview, he's either going to keep dragging you back and wanting more information, or he's that, which is then going to throw you right out, or he's not going to trust you because you're not giving him enough information. What's missing here? And because he has that critical perception as well, he's really looking for errors now. Yep. So you've seen what I've just done here to be able to read you like that, how quickly I know your personality. I can then put my presentation together. And as I said before, I don't put it together based on what I want to hear. I put it together on what you want to hear. And I'll give you a quick example on that. Just recently in the COVID situation, I had one of my clients rang me and said, look, I've got a client who was refusing to pay the full contract price. We've finished the deal, but he's using COVID as an excuse. He wants a $50,000 discount on the service, and he's cancelled his next project. Okay, share your screen, give me a look at his face. I told him how the gentleman liked to think, how he likes to be treated, the level of authority and everything else he wanted to be treated with. He showed me the email he was going to send him, and we quickly changed that. He then sent the message through, and I asked him about the new project. And the new project, if it was online before COVID finished or when COVID was over, he would lead the market. And the amount of money that was involved in that made the 50,000 look pretty cheap. But because first he was able to connect with the guy then listened to him, came up with the 50,000 and started the next project. And so doesn't matter what the situation is, because we're doing everything online, if you can see the other person straight away, you're able to make that connection with them a lot faster. So that's a bit of a rundown. I might have gone a little bit over there, Mark, but I'll throw it back to you. But I think next we've got Monika, haven't we?
Thanks, Alan. And Monika, I would like to now throw to you just to explain a little bit more in the copywriting, how you connect obviously to the pain point, but also in a way that people will respond to the written word, which is so important because we're all online now. We're pushed there by COVID. So we need to be able to know how to connect through copy as much as face-to-face. Thanks, Monika.
Thanks, Mark. And thank you, Alan. That was amazing. Like, I've had some private messages go, holy shit, this is freaking unreal. This is amazing. So yeah, I remember when Alan did that sort of snapshot on me when we first talked on Zoom together, and he's telling me all these things about me and who are you? Like, how do you know all this stuff, right? And it is from, reading people and being able to profile them. So that's a really cool, amazing gift to be able to do that. And we can all learn that as well. So I want to talk to you. I'm going to share my slides because I've got, where are my slides now? I've got some slides, if they come up, and talk to you guys about the power of client attraction and how you can actually utilize client attraction in an environment where you don't get to see the person, right? Because Marg talked about the non-verbal signs, Alan did too. It's about, you know, serving people, and Alan talked about, I made a note here about how you read people as a, you know, on a image or in video, or being with them in the same room, and then figuring out how you can communicate with them so that you serve them in a way that they want to be served. But how do you do that when you don't have that ability, when you actually communicate via your website or via social media, or when you talk to them about, you know, anything to do with your business in a non-real kind of environment? So I see a lot of you here that I know personally, and it's really lovely to see so many familiar faces. For those of you who haven't met me, who don't really know who I am, there's a little bit of stuff on the screen about me, and I don't really want to go into this in more details. But basically, I've created a business to give me the lifestyle that I have. And I was laughing earlier when I was first jumping on with Marg and Alan on Zoom, because here they are all business-like and well presented, and here I am in my hoodie, in my tiny Ida caravan in the middle of the Flinders Ranges. And that's my life, that's who I am. And, you know, travel and experience moments that take my breath away is one of my reasons why. It's the freedom to be able to have the choices that we have in business. And many of us are in business to have that ability, right? I mean, who here, give me a show of hands, who here is in business to be able to have choices, to earn enough money so you have the freedom to design the life that you want? Yeah? Who here? Or is there anybody who's not here who doesn't want that? You know, we all want that. We want the freedom. We want the ability to design the life of our dreams, whether that is to travel like I do, or whether that is to just give the best life to your family. It doesn't matter. So in order to be able to build that business, we need to have strong communication skills. And strong communication skills gives you the ability to connect with your audience. Much like Marg talked about being the super connector, and Alan talks about, you know, profiling people, you need to be able to communicate in the written word. And when Marg talks about copywriting, that's basically the art of salesmanship in print. Copy is words, that's all it is. But how do you, you know, Alan was mentioning 38% of people react to the tone of your voice when you communicate. But how do you do that in writing? So I want to talk to you about the 3 P's of magnetic marketing today, how to generate consistent cash flow for your business, and the 3 reasons why you want to be a client attraction alchemist in your business, so you can connect with your audience more effortlessly and irresistibly. So I want to talk about Aristotle. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher, and he coined the term rhetoric. And rhetoric is identified as one of the 3 key elements of philosophy. Philosophy is the basic action of how we relate to one another, and how we make sense of what we're saying to each other, and even the non-verbal signs of communication that we throw at each other when we are, you know, talking and not talking. So rhetoric, in short, is the art of persuasion. And persuasion really is just having irresistible influence and impact. And in the business, we want to make sure that we appeal to all of the pillars of rhetoric. And I'm going to go through these now. The first one is ethos. Ethos appeals to ethics. Now, none of us here in this Zoom room is unethical. You guys are all highly ethical, you're honest, you're full of integrity, you don't want to close people into a sale when it's not the right time. And this is not what persuasion is about anyway. Persuasion can be positive or negative. I never advocate the negative parts of persuasion, which is the hypey part, the pushy part, the salesy part, and the sleazy part. We want to always stay in integrity when we sell. So how do we appeal to somebody's ethics when we write? Well, first of all, we need a measure of character. So we need to demonstrate our character in the communication, right? We need to also demonstrate credibility and influence and authority. And the way you can demonstrate influence and credibility is through authority. The best way to connect with your audience is through emotions. When we are emphatic, we actually demonstrate to the person reading our copy that we truly care about their pain. We truly care and understand their needs and their desires. And we need to be able to communicate that in a way that is not pushy or even disrespectful. You know, Alan was talking about respectful communication. And the way we do that is we appeal to people's emotions. It's the art of creating an emotional response. So how do we do that if we don't understand who are we doing business with? The first step of creating irresistible impact with your message and marketing is to actually understand your ideal client. And most often than not, your ideal client is a person like yourself. They share your psychographics. I don't care, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you got to figure out what your ideal client reads, what they eat for breakfast, who they hang out with in their private time, you know, what they listen to, what magazines they read. None of that matters. What really matters is the psychographics. And it boils back to their values, their personality traits, and the way they show up in life, their belief system. And our ideal clients, like your ideal clients, share your values, they share your belief system, and they share your behavior traits. Because otherwise, they wouldn't do business with you. You know, Marg and Alan both talked about building trust. And without trust, the sale doesn't take place. So imagine doing business with somebody who doesn't like you. It's almost impossible. We tend to not do business with people we don't like. So, you know, think about your emotions and how we can communicate with emotive storytelling to your ideal clients so that they actually get that you feel their pain and you've been in their shoes before, because most often than not you have. The other thing we need is an appealing to their logic. So it's no good trying to just persuade people with emotion, because a lot of people in your audience are actually driven by statistical data. They need more details. And I know Alan will tell you about this because there's actually a trait in the face that tells you exactly that these people want that. Isn't it so, Alan? Yeah, yeah. So you need to also sprinkle in facts and figures and statistical data into your presentation. Much like Alan and Marg did today. You know, they talked about the percentages of people who are unhappy with their company. Like, I think it was like 75% of people want more personal communication. They don't just want to feel like a number. They want to be treated with respect, and they want to feel that they truly matter to you as the person who serves them. You can also do that via testimonials and social proof. So make sure you sprinkle these into your messaging on social media, in email, in your presentations, etc. So what is client attraction alchemy anyway? Like what is this all about? Well, basically in the old ages, I'm getting a bit of feedback here. If somebody is not muted, can you please mute yourself because it feeds back to me? Marg, if you want to check. Yeah. So in ancient times, alchemists were seen as wizards. They were obsessed with the ability or the skill to transmute base metals into gold. That was their obsession. That's what they wanted. In business, alchemy or client attraction alchemy is a magical process of transformation and creation. We create our offers, we put our genius out there, we share our brilliance with the market, but we do this because we want to sincerely help our clients transform their life. Now, whether you're a life coach or a health coach or a fitness coach, or whether you have a bricks and mortar business, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we show up in business because we have an important message to share, and we have a gift and the skill that can help the world at large. And so in client attraction is the art of magnetizing your message and your marketing, which basically means you attract your ideal clients to you effortlessly with the way you show up. So you can create irresistible impact and become an in-demand expert and industry leader. So you get invited to speak on stages, or you get invited to speak on podcasts, or you can create amazing impact to the world at large. So why does it actually matter? Well, one of the problems that's happening in the marketplace that a lot of people in business, and maybe you're in that situation right now, and if that's the case, then there is a better way, and it's not your fault you're in this position, because you've probably been told by 100 different people you need this, and then somebody else tells you need the opposite. So who do you actually believe? One of the reasons that you're not attracting your ideal clients is that you don't have a plan. There's no clear strategy in the way you show up. So the way this usually works is, and give me a show of hands if you feel like it. You probably wake up one day, you feel amazing, and you go, oh my God, I haven't posted on social media. I need to go and post something. And you're fired up and you post, you put your stuff out there. You may even fire up your email list and you send an email to your list, and then crickets. You do nothing. Something happens in your life and you get depressed. You feel angry, maybe you feel negative, and that's the time when we usually hide. And so we hide instead of being out there consistently. And because we don't really know what we're doing, we have no strategy that tells us exactly the way we need to show up. Well, our marketing efforts are higgledy-piggledy, which means now you see me, now you don't. It's a bit like that movie. Yeah, so you become almost like this magician who appears out of nowhere and then disappears. And then, oh, she's there over there. Oh, now she's gone. Oh, look here, there he is. Oh, where is he now? So if you market like that, then you create a roller coaster effect in your business. And what happens is, it's like a circle, right? You're almost like the hamster on the wheel. You waste precious time and your energy. And instead of doing the things you should be doing, you end up wasting your time with trivial, aimless, and futile activities, like checking your email inbox 20 times a day, like firing up Facebook first thing in the morning on the phone, like going to sleep with this smartphone in your hand and going, oh yeah, I'll just check Facebook. Oh, I haven't checked LinkedIn. Oh yeah, let me check, This is the biggest distraction to your productivity. And because you're not following the strategy and you detach yourself from the emotional part of marketing, you're not getting anywhere fast. So what happens then is you become disillusioned. You become overwhelmed. You might be glued to your inbox and social media in the hopes that somebody sends you an email for a quote. Or maybe you end up relying on introductions from business friends. Or what's worse, you stress about money all the time or all too often. And that is a big issue. So I want to talk about how you can stop yourself from being in that treadmill, in that roller coaster, and actually start showing up so you become a client attraction alchemist as well. And it's actually very simple, but it requires consistent effort. And that is one of the hardest things for us as humans, because we are geared by our emotions. When we feel great, it's easy to show up. But when we're self-conscious and depressed, it's really, really hard to be that courageous and show up. And there's one lady on this call right now, on this class right now, and I won't mention name, but she had this experience recently. And so I challenged her. I said to her, show up in your vulnerability. Go back to your group and make a vulnerable video. Because if we can show up in our vulnerability, we show people that it's okay not to be perfect. Just like Marg was doing earlier when she messed up the slide, right? None of us is perfect. I'm not perfect. So we need to be authentic. And authenticity is all part of your personality. If you're afraid of people judging you, which many of us are, then you're not going to show up authentically and you're going to hide. And so, you know, you're worried that you're going to be judged because you're not perfect. But guess what? Nobody is perfect, right? Nobody is perfect. Perfectionism doesn't exist, because by the time you think something is perfect, you will find fault with it again and again and again. And this is one of the reasons why we forever change our copy on our website, in emails. We forever tweak our designs. We think it's not good enough. But it's also because we grow as a person. We grow, we become better at our skills, we become better with our mindset. And as we become better, we have an urgent desire to change the way we show up. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you also have to accept that good is good enough. So show up, just be raw, be you, and show up consistently. So if you're done with fake, surface level approaches to marketing, just show up being yourself. And don't be afraid to be vulnerable. The other thing you want to do is you want to have your personalized communication. So don't shout at your audience. And what I mean by shouting is, if you just show up to pitch, buy this, half price, cart open, cart close, guess what happens? Your audience is going to wear out. We're not in a business to pitch. We're in a business to serve people. Serving is selling. So the more you serve, the more you will sell. And like Alan said, you know, I'm a big believer in being the bridge. We are the bridge. I'm no hero. My client is the hero. My clients are the hero. They are the ones who fight in the trenches every single day. I'm merely there to help them bridge the gap between the pain that they're feeling and a transformation they want to experience. This is your job. Your job is to help bridge that gap for your clients. And you can only do that if you serve them, which means you show up, and you show up as you, personalized communication. So don't think about what's in it for me. Nobody has commented on my Facebook Live. Nobody likes my posts. None of that matters. Think about what you can do for your clients, and then show up consistently over and over and over and over again, and just serve people as best as you can. Learn the art of persuasion. Persuasion, if done the right way, can change lives. It can transform lives dramatically. Persuasion done the wrong way can kill people and create a lot of pain and heartache. So do persuasion with integrity. Help your business thrive and survive so you can sleep better at night and stop stressing about money and having to sell, because you don't have to sell. You just have to show up and be you and serve people. So how do you generate consistent cash flow so that you can sleep better at night, so that you can stop stressing about money and selling, and that you can help your business survive and thrive? Well, the first thing you can do is accelerate your authority. And the way you do that is, guess what? It's being authentic. Show up all the time. Figure out a way that works for your life. How can I show up consistently with everything that's going on in my life? Maybe you have children. Maybe you have a husband at home. Maybe your partner is forced to work from home and your living reality has changed. So how can you show up consistently without having external influences affect you in your business. That's how you accelerate your authority. Be solid in your messaging. Don't be afraid to show up with your own opinion, but back it up with proof, statistics, case studies, social proof. Okay? If you can do that, you will automatically accelerate your authority. People will want to be with you, because when you show up as a luminary, people are attracted to you because you become the light that guides everyone else in the darkness. You want to connect with intention. So think about, how do I actually want to be connecting with people, right? What matters to me? What are my values, and how can I communicate these values to my audience? And then do that. Be very intentional in the way you show up. And the best way to do that, again, is being authentic. And the third thing is, and I love what Marg said about, you know, these messenger chats and people messenger you as soon as you friend them, and that's really annoying. Yes, 100%. But you got to nail organic marketing, because if you don't, you're going to sink a ton of money into paid advertising. And paid advertising should never be used until you have nailed organic marketing. And what I mean by that is, if you can consistently close new clients organically, and you bring in new clients every month after month after month and do it organically, then you can work on putting your stuff on paid advertising. If you don't do that, there's too many gaps and too many holes in your sales funnel, in your entire client attraction pipeline. And if you don't fix these holes first, then you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads or Google ads and get nowhere real fast. So you got to nail organic marketing by simply getting super clear about who you are. What is it that makes you, what makes you tick? Like, what are your values? What is your big business why? What are my ideal clients struggling with? Like, where are they? What's their situation? And then you speak to their situation and you connect with them authentically. So there's 3 reasons why you need a client attraction strategy. A, you're going to save thousands of dollars in not having to do Facebook ads, especially in the beginning. You become the go-to wizard. You become the go-to expert, and you're going to be in demand. People are going to refer you left, right, and center. And thirdly, you're going to build a fun and profitable business. And as far as I'm concerned, why do you want to be in business if business is not fun? You're not going to jump out of bed in the morning fully excited because you're not having fun. So find a way to make your business fun again. And I'm just going to end on this. There's 7 steps to client attraction. You need clarity. You need to be clear on your offer and your message. So what am I actually offering? You need clarity on your dream client profile. So understand and speak to your dream client's reality. You need to demonstrate empathy, make them feel special and heard. You need a mission. Why are you here? Like, what do you stand for? So if you can stand for something that matters to her, like I'm saying her because I work with women in business mainly, you need a cause and a why. And then you can attract people to that cause and why, because they identify with that cause. You need authority and build trust and credibility by being yourself and showing up consistently, which gives you the visibility. And you need to be visible in the right places. It's no good being visible on LinkedIn when your ideal clients are not hanging out on LinkedIn. So think about where your ideal clients are on social media and then show up in those places. And you need to be congruent, which is basically your on brand, on message personality. Being yourself, having fun, showing up, that is how you do it. So I could talk all day and I probably went a little bit overboard, and I do apologize, but once I get going, I can't stop. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, pop them in the chat below. Like, we're happy to answer any questions. And I'd also love to know, you know, what was your biggest takeaway from the presentation today? Like, put it in the chat below. You know, what are you going to implement today? And yeah, I'm going to hand over to Marg, because Marg's got some amazing things for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica. So if we were to now look at the takeaways, as Monica was saying, what was consistent about the three of us that we said? It was about showing up. And the thing is that you need to know how you're showing up and how others are perceiving you. So I created this SuperConnector Academy because it's just so natural that if you look at your relationship with yourself, all the stuff that you're bringing to every conversation you have. So step one is working on how you're showing up and doing that self-assessment. Two is about building the relationships. And those relationships will be on meetings like this. So relationships will be in chat groups. They may be on LinkedIn. And they also may be in the copy that we were talking to your database that Monica was talking about. So step one is showing up. Step two is building the relationships. Now imagine if you had the ability to build a relationship and then you get in front of someone and then you can read them. Imagine that. It makes it so much easier. And then step three is once you've actually read them and you're starting to either do a presentation or you're doing business with them, then you can write in a way that they will hear. And all these steps is all about building rapport, about building the trust, understanding what it is they want. Because right now, behind closed doors, everyone's hurting, just like my slide. We don't know if they're in disbelief, or we don't know if they are in sadness, or maybe they're okay. And the thing is that because you don't know, you need to be able to connect. And that's why I put this SuperConnector Academy together to teach all the things that Monica has been talking about, all the things that Alan's been talking about, and all the things that I've been talking about. Because when you do put those three things together, the best thing is you don't have to spend anything on marketing, because you are the lead magnet and people trust that. And the other great thing is that you have relationships that turn into friendships. And so it is one of those things where I'd just like to now share my screen. Old style networking will not work. COVID is not going away. It takes 21 days to make a habit. And we've been in this situation now for nearly 9 months. So people are changing. The way they see the world is changing. Their priorities are changing. So I have put together a course, which is, just go to the screen, share again. Whoops. Here we go again, Marg. I put a 4-week course together, which is very practical. And in that, I'm going to give you in this course your self-audit, your relationship audit. I'm going to give you a system to organize your relationships. Some of you don't realize that we as humans can only manage 150 relationships. So if you've got 500 Facebook friends, 500 LinkedIn connections, and you also have 700 on Instagram, you've got a list. You don't have relationships. And imagine if you could organize those relationships so you could nurture them. And imagine if you could read them. And then imagine if I could teach you how to act and behave and think like a super connector and get into that mindset every single day, as Monica was saying, so you don't end up getting crickets when you're communicating. And people are responding and people want to follow you. That you become your own influencer because people want to follow you, not for what you do, but for who you are. Think Tony Robbins, a classic example. People love to follow him because he actually is a great connector. And in this course, I'm going to give you training in a closed Facebook group. And so pretty much in the first 2 weeks, it's the theory and the rest of it is coaching. Power circle strategy is all about organizing those relationships into power circles, really influential connections that will open the door. Happily will take your call. Classic example. At the moment, I have Tanya in here and Vicky, who are my clients, and they wanted me to get sponsorship. So I just connected to someone I haven't spoken to 35 years. And now I get on the phone with him and he's saying, oh, your timing was perfect because we've been thinking about what you're talking about. And so how good is that I can bring it to my client? And how good is it now I'm redeveloping that relationship with him? And he's really influential. And the other thing is you will get access to what I call my CAT Power Circle directory. CAT stands for Change Agency Team. I have a team of people behind me that are connectors, and they're connected. And it's just like this massive tree of connections. And plus I'm going to give you 2 months of complimentary membership where I will coach you to become a connector, where you will have the mindset of a connector. You will show up as a connector. You'll have flourishing relationships. And in fact, the great thing about this is that your relationships with your partner, with your children. And imagine doing Alan's course, because he was talking about the children that he has been helping parents have better relationships with them. So I'm going to hand it over now to Alan to talk about his Value Saver course. Alan?
Okay, thank you. I'm going to be fairly quick on this because I know the time's getting on and I wanted to make sure that Monika gets a chance to tell you about what she's got, but stick around to the end because we have a special treat for you about all 3 programs. The whole thing is that when it comes down to it, they talk about you have business relationships. Well, you don't have business relationships. Every relationship's a personal relationship. So I've got 2 courses there. One is called the Business Essentials Fast Start. It will teach you how to build instant rapport with anyone. It looks at a number of traits that you can read in someone's face at a glance as they walk past you in the street, as you see their LinkedIn profiles or Facebook photographs or anything else. The Smart Personal Relationships gets into looking at your family as well, but virtually the 2 courses compiled together give you a lot more information. That's why I bundled the 2 together. They are usually retailed at $370 Australian. They're online courses. In addition to that, when you have finished the course, I'm quite happy to do a look at your LinkedIn profiles and give you a free overview of what people are seeing and how you can improve that as well. So that's virtually my offering for you today, to go through and give you some more information on how to change the way that you're looking in your imagery and everything else. And then with the connection with what Marg's been talking about, will work very well with her course and very much so with Monika's that she's about to talk about now. So I'll pass it over to Monika. Thank you.
Okay, so what have we got here? Okay, so basically I've got the 7-step client attraction blueprint. It's a brand new course. I'm literally just putting it together. So it is amazing because I'm going to share with you the framework and how you can become a client attraction strategist in your business. So the 7 steps is basically we're going to create a persuasive positioning framework. So you're going to learn the framework of how you position yourself in a way that's persuasive and attractive to your ideal clients. Then we're going to create your own mission manifesto, which is a fun, creative process, really fun. I'm going to help you accelerate your authority. I'm going to give you access to my sales content mapping tool, which is a very specific process on what type of content you need at what stage in the buyer's journey. So you're going to learn all about that, and it's a really amazing tool that you can utilize and play with at your own in your own time. I'm gonna share with you a simple way on how you can create unlimited content for social media through the content visibility map. It's actually a process that allows you to brainstorm 12 months worth of content for social media and never run out of ideas or topics or anything. And it might take you probably a couple of hours to create the actual map. But once you have it, it's literally just, okay, I've got my topic for the day. I can create my topics for the week in advance or the months in advance, and bulk create everything and then just put it out there without having to worry about what I'm going to post today. I'm going to teach you my organic omnipresence method, which is a very simple but effective method that's going to get you great engagement on social media. And it's actually going to bring clients into your inbox. And at the end, we're going to talk about the client attraction alchemy, the whole structure, and how we can actually create a business that gives you the lifestyle freedom that you want. So that course in itself, the retail value selling is at $370, but I'm also going to give you my dream client profile course that sells for $97 US separately. So you're going to get access to that. And that's very much a right brain approach to meeting your dream client. And on top of it, I'm going to give you access to my Facebook group, which is for my coaching clients, and you're going to get access for 3 months at no extra charge, and then you can continue if you want to for paying the monthly membership. Now, Mark's going to tell you exactly how you can get all of our courses for a massive savings today. So over to Mark.
Okay, so if you would like to join my VIP Super Connector and get this bundle, you can see that the total value is $1,100, including GST, but today's offer is $660, including GST, and we're also giving you 3 payments over 3 months at $267. That is absolutely amazing value when you're thinking about how important it is in today's world to connect. Everyone's craving it. So whilst everybody else will be out there talking in messages that's never going to land, spending money on SEO, spending money on Google AdWords, you're going to be generating leads without paying a cent on marketing. You're going to increase your conversion of sales through building relationships and the ability to read people. And that is where the real gold is. You're going to attract the right people who want to do business with you through the copy that connects and speaks directly to your target market. You're going to rebuild your business, especially if it's been affected by COVID, not just to survive, but to thrive in any environment. Because last time I checked, people are business. We send invoices to people. We email people. We chat on the phone to people. So if you need to become a master of people if you're going to survive through this period moving forward. And you'll become your own key person of influence. You don't need to go and get a social influencer. You don't need to, you become your own, because people will follow you, and then you just watch your quality of life change. So if you would like to actually invest in your relationships, invest in your own personal development, and basically become the person that you've always wanted to be and build businesses that are going to have people in them that are going to be just wanting to come and do business with you and be able, it won't be even selling. That's a great part of it. I'm never attached to any sale. And then I just get these people showing up because I'm showing up properly. And I love it. So if you would like, I've got Monica now is going to put into the chat box the one lump sum. It's only available today. I want you to really have a good think about this. This offer is only for today. So please act now and invest in yourself, invest in your business, and ensure that you have a thriving business and a really great life by taking this action. So I'm just going to stop the share now. And what I want to do now is, I've got Monica wants to speak.
Yes, Mark, we had a question from Tanya saying, how long are each of the courses? What is the length of each of the courses? I think that's a great question. So maybe you want to answer that, Alan, Mark, and myself, so people can, you know.
Okay, well, for me, mine is a 4-week course. In week 1, basically, it's all about how you're showing up and where you're showing up and doing all that, you know, the audit on yourself. So there's a lot of, you know, I'm going to make you go and ask 5 people what they think of you. And basically in week 2, I'm going to be like, I do a different type of building rapport to Alan. So I'll doing it a little bit differently to Alan in how I teach you how to build rapport, because I actually teach you how to become an active listener, because that is where you actually are able to listen and find the opportunity that you want, right? And peel the onion by being curious. And so that's week 2. And then week 3 and 4 is pretty much just training you. My aim is that in 4 weeks you start getting leads, and then getting sales. And I have 2 months coaching in that. So mine's 4 weeks at your own pace, plus some coaching in there as well. Alan?
Okay, mine are pre-recorded courses that are sitting online at the moment. They take the amount of time that you take. So you actually, as I say, self-paced. You set your own time out in doing that. And as you do that, you will find that when you finished it, you do one course, then you do the other course. Once you finish those, then message me after that. And what we'll do is we'll get together online and we'll take you through what you've actually learned. We'll answer a few more questions there. We'll consolidate it more. These particular courses, I've had clients do those who have actually doubled their income in the following year from being able to build the instant rapport. So I'll leave it up to you to come back to me when you're ready. So that could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks. Just depends on how much time you've got available to put into the course itself. But they will only take you about 5 or 6 hours to go through, actually about 7 hours to go through all the courses together. But you'll self-pace that in your own time.
Thanks, Alan. And mine is also a self-study, self-paced course. So you go through it in your own time. You get lifetime access. The coaching in a Facebook group is designed to get you traction. And as some of you have said, you know, finances are tight. I mean, that's totally up to you. We're not pushing anyone into a sale. Just note there is a payment plan. So if you choose the payment plan, you pay $267 Australian today, and then the same amount in 30 days and another 30 days later. So the idea is that if you apply what we're teaching you, there is no reason why you shouldn't make back $267 and much more in the interim, so you can pay the bill and keep paying the bills. The idea is to help you guys get out of that situation that you're in now, tight cash flow, money issues, you know, financial pressure, and help you guys actually create a business that pays you well. So you have that ability to actually make more sales. So I just want to mention that, because it's easy to, you know, say, oh, it's a great offer, but then you go and you struggle and you keep struggling. You need help. Yeah, you need the help. And if it's not from us, you need help from someone else. So if you have any more questions, let us know. We're going to answer them, but I'm going to mute myself so Mark can take over.
Yeah, so I'd just like to thank everybody for attending today. And if you've got any questions, just unmute yourself now and let's start having a chat. So,
sorry.
Yeah, Tanya?
I just wanted to ask, I've got to go soon because I've got a meeting at 2 o'clock. Is it possible for you to email the link to us so that we can then...
Absolutely, Tanya, I could do that.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I was just going to suggest on that, Mark, I know Martin had to duck off earlier, so if it's okay with everybody, you email everybody with those details and they've got a record of it and they can take action on it straight away.
Beautiful. Oh, well, thank you everybody for your time today. I hope you got a lot out of it. And I really like to see you in the SuperConnector Academy and get to know you better, because I really love people, and so does Alan, so does Monica. We're just a really great little happy family. And thanks once again.
And as I said, once you get through the courses, get in touch with me, and that's when we'll be able to get it together one-on-one, and I can just go through your profile for you right then and there as well.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate all of you. I appreciate your time. Thank you for showing up. I know you could all be doing other things. So yeah, it was great sharing the space with you all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.